I was thumbing through Facebook just yesterday and I ran across several messages that had to do with veterans who are suffering from anxiety, depression, alcoholism, drug addiction, you name it. Because a lot of us experience combat, if you're around my age anyway, and even some of the younger folks that are in now, and definitely the ones before me. Service and the experiences that you have separately lend different traumas and different frustrations and different obstacles and challenges that we face in our daily lives when we are done our service, folks. For me, and for me alone, I can say without a doubt that I suffer from PTSD, I suffer from combat trauma, combat stress, however you want to shape those terms. And it's affected my life in a multitude of ways. And for me, the way that I dealt with those changes and those feelings and those things that I couldn't control from my combat experience is, guess what? I got drunk. I drank every feeling away that I possibly could, and I self-medicated to the point where I almost didn't make it back from what I thought was my own remedy. And if you can relate to this so far, drop your comment below, because a veteran out there right now is thinking that there is no chance for them to get better and there is no way for them to receive the support that they deserve. There are links below in the description for the VA, for Alcoholics Anonymous, for recovery hotlines, suicide hotlines. Reach out if there's a veteran next to you, or if you're the veteran, reach out and get the support and help you need in order to make your quality life better. Because you deserve it, and your service is not in vain, and your service is not invalid, and you deserve certain benefits for the service that you gave. Back to the subject at hand. Okay, yeah, there was a rhyme in there, but I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Back to the subject at hand. If we, the veterans, get out of service, when we leave service, there's a gap between what we knew, and depending on how long you were in, it can adjust quickly. But for me, it was 20 years. From what we knew, from what we are currently in, and what we don't see in the future. Because for me, I was grounded in my 20 years of service. I was grounded in the routines that it held. I was grounded in the knowledge that I was going to deploy, the knowledge that I was going to serve in a war zone, the knowledge that I had to wake up at 5 a.m., the knowledge that I had to, be a leader in front of soldiers in order to be effective for them. And I knew certain things about how my day and my life was going to go, and I knew certain things were provided for me. My shelter was provided, my food was provided, my health care is provided. But when you leave service, folks, when you leave whatever military service you're in, or it could even be federal service of some sort, there becomes a lot of variables to where those things are no longer readily accessible. You have to pay your own mortgage or your rent. You have to buy your own groceries. You have to pay health insurance. You have to, get to the hospital on your own. Nobody's tracking your appointments. Nobody's tracking your training. It's up to you. And those things can be frustrating. And to add on top of all that, you no longer have the immediate support from your peers that you had while you were in service. So that is a hard thing. And for me, this veteran, when I left service, now my phone used to ring all the time. It used to ring nonstop, and I used to have to respond to situations as they arose and be able to react quickly. When I left, when I retired, my phone didn't ring at all, and I felt like, well, I guess that 20 years is done, and I'm no longer needed, and I'm no longer necessary, and I'm no longer this or that. Part of that is true. I no longer wear a uniform. I no longer put on the U.S. Army uniform. I no longer put on my PT gear, my physical fitness training gear. I no longer eat meals ready to eat, MREs, and I don't have the immediate support and structure that I had while I was in service. That is a fact. I did have trouble adjusting. I did have anxiety about retiring, and I did have a lot of unknowns that I was stepping into, as well as all the things that I did know stepping out of. So these were compound facts. And prior to that, I was an active alcoholic. My last 2 years of service was the first 2 years of service that I served completely sober. Before that, I drank a lot. I drank away all these memories that I had from Operation Iraqi Freedom 1, 7, 9, and one other one. Yeah. Anyway, so all that's somewhat starting to fade away. And for me, as I go into the latter part of my life as a veteran, it's extremely hard and it's extremely challenging sober. But the way I have to process it now is I reach out to veterans that are around me. Here's the kicker, folks. I live in Europe. So the same kind of accessibility that you would have in the United States, I don't have it here. I have to actively reach out and I have to actively be a part of what I left, if that makes sense for anybody. If you get what I'm saying, drop your comment below, because this Veterans Day is important, because not only for people who have served and who are serving, but it's important because a lot of us think we're completely alone when we get out. You couldn't be more wrong, folks. We are here for each other. And I say that on this channel all the time. And as it relates to recovery, the same is true for veterans who get out of service and have that sense of loneliness and have that those thoughts that they don't belong anymore. And they have those thoughts that there's nothing more for them. And I suffered from that 100% of the time. My first couple years when I got out of service, I didn't feel like I was important. I didn't feel like I had a purpose, and I didn't have the same drive that I had while I was serving. Now, my friends, I am fortunate to be sober, and I'm fortunate to have the support of fellow veterans, and I am here for anybody who needs help this Veterans Day and beyond. And if you need anything from me that I can help with, please don't hesitate to ask. And that includes, folks, if you need 20 bucks, hit me up. And not 2 million of you, please, because I don't have that kind of cash. I am, after all, retired. So, anyway, happy Veterans Day. God bless you all. And stay tuned for the next video. Have a great day.